You might have heard of sine, cosine, and tangent, but maybe you don't know what that is. In this video, we're gonna look at what exactly those are and where it kind of comes from. So a couple important things to know first. If you're looking at some angle, the side that it is across from, the side that it opens up to, is called the opposite side. And the hypotenuse is the side that's across from the right angle, or the diagonal line. And then the adjacent side is the side that x is next to that's not the hypotenuse. So if you're looking at it a different way, if this angle is x, the opposite side of that angle is what it's pointing out to. The hypotenuse, again, is the diagonal, and the adjacent is your other sides. First, we want to find the opposite over hypotenuse. So opposite of 30 is 1, over the hypotenuse is 2. Adjacent over hypotenuse is going to be radical 3 over 2, and opposite over adjacent is 1 over radical 3. And now we can find the opposite over hypotenuse for 30 degrees. That's going to be 4 over 8. Adjacent over hypotenuse, so 4 radical 3 over 8. And opposite over adjacent, 4 over 4 radical 3. Make sure if you're plugging that into the calculator, you have this in parentheses. If you do the same thing for the remainder of the triangles, here's what you get. Then, if you look at your calculator, you'll see a sine button, a cosine button, and a tangent button. First, make sure your calculator is in degree mode. So at the top, click on mode and then go down and click on degree. And then you can quit out, second quit or second mode. And if you plug these into the calculator, it'll give you decimals 0.5, 0.87, and then 0.58. And then these will give you these numbers. So it's really important that you see some patterns here. If you look at the first big row, if you look across all the rows, we have the same numbers. So what's important to get from this, if you're looking at similar triangles, such as these, because they have the same angles, so they're similar by angle, you're gonna get the same ratios. If you do adjacent over hypotenuse, looking at similar triangles, you'll get the same ratios, and same with opposite over adjacent. And these ratios are so common that there's buttons in the calculator for them. So if you need to do opposite over hypotenuse of, for example, 25 degrees, that you might not be able to find just by hand, you could click on sine in the calculator of 25, and that'll give you the opposite over hypotenuse. And then cosine is going to be the adjacent over the hypotenuse, and tangent is the opposite over the adjacent. So that's where everything comes from. Here's an important summary. You may have heard of SOHCAHTOA, but it's how you can remember what goes with what. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent.